Hello, everyone. This is Guillaume and Rosalie. We're here for Stop Losing, Start Trading, the weekly show we do 3 times a week about trading options. Again, Rosalie is learning quite a bit, but the goal is to teach Rosalie and the audience how to trade options, how to take advantage of market moves, Fed announcements, who knows. While using Panoptic, but a lot of what we create is still useful for any options protocol. Everything we see here is not financial advice. So we just discuss these trades in the open as a form of entertainment. Sometimes the intern listens to us, but then we don't tell him what to do, or her, or them. So, whatever you do, yeah. How are you today, Rosalie? Yeah, anything new on your side?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm in New York. There's Digital Asset Summit here, so I was able to meet up with a lot of people that are in town this week. There's more events going on today, but yeah, I think ETH is looking a little bit better today, so I'm excited about that, and I'm curious about all of interns' positions and
Yeah, I took a
yeah.
peek this morning. Yeah, exactly. The market has been up. It's been up for many markets, so you can see the spike here. Trump is not following, but a lot of what we see seems to have happened earlier this morning, 6 a.m. So I thought initially this was the Fed announcement being front ran by the crypto markets, but the regular markets did not see a huge increase. It's still up a little bit. So who knows what's going on? But all the markets are up. We're above $2,000 on the ETH. I know that you're a big Ripple bag holder, but this is also going up quite a bit more. Oh my god, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, the
Been
looks like
reading every
the
announcement.
ETH went up at 6:30 a.m. and now 9 a.m. Big whales woke up and bought XRP in way bigger size. So maybe something's brewing. Who knows? ETH is up, Bitcoin is up, Solana is up too. Bitcoin a bit less actually. So again, still on the 24-hour cycle, but nothing as sudden as ETH, and certainly not something as sudden as Ripple. Um, yeah, markets are green, so we all feel like geniuses. There we go.
Definitely.
All right, so let's go and look at the intern portfolio. So again, we're discussing trades. We can spectate or spy on the intern on Panoptic and see how they're doing. Turns out they're doing pretty well. Yeah, what do you see here, Rosalie?
Yeah, it looks better than last time we checked. So I'm excited about that P&L. Curious, yeah, to look at the Bitcoin ETH ratio trade. I know that was working well for us for a while. So now with the market
Oh, yeah.
shift.
So again, the open PNL is what the PNL is for the whole position, including the collateral. So it's going up a little bit because of the price move as well. But you see here in this row, in this column, all the PNL for different markets. Biggest winner it seems is ETH USDC. All right, we'll come back to it. But yeah, let's go the round again. The goal of any trader is to diversify your investments, not have all your eggs in one basket. In this case, the intern has positions in the ETH BTC ratio, the ticker Bitcoin, USDCE, and also Eigen token. So again, with Panoptic, you can trade on many different assets. If there's a Uniswap pool, you can trade. So this is what we have as well here. Lots of diversity. One that is interesting and working for us, and it still seems to be working, which is great, is the ETH BTC ratio. And yeah, let me see. How does that look like to you, Rosalie? And can you remind us the setup that we
Yeah,
had there?
yeah. So we moved some unused liquidity out of range into range. So we bought that option for free. And for a while, the price was going down, so we were kind of more towards the green a little bit, I guess. Now with recent movements, it's going a little bit more down again, but not in the danger zone yet. But
Danger zone. Yes, and we're above the minting price, which is 0.025. Currently, it's 0.024. So overall, still bearish. Even though the price went up again, it's still kind of bearish. One thing to maybe pay attention is that this option that we purchased is free until I guess the price reaches that range. So if it goes above 0.025, then we'll be paying in quite a bit, I guess, on the long side. But now it's only receiving fees. A lot of what we see is that you want to see the chart going up to the right. This one has worked quite a bit. Lots of market volatility means the slope increases. Some volatility here, so it doesn't pick up. But it's one of those where it's been open for 12 days. It's a monthly option. You don't expect this to, unless there's a big move, to do anything before the 20 or 25-day mark. So still good. Nothing more to do than wait. The ticker Bitcoin is also another interesting one. Um, let's see. Aha. All right. Are you happy with it? Oh yeah. What do we see there?
Yeah, looks fine. I think it would be more exciting if there were people buying more options here, but it looks, still in range and collecting fees
Yeah, nothing more to hope
for a
for.
while.
Yeah, sorry, you cut for a little bit. But yeah, nothing more to hope. We set up a delta neutral trade on Ticker Bitcoin. Price has not moved beyond much more where we started with. We're earning premium over time. So again, uh, $5 worth or maybe $10 worth of premium, but I'll take it. And yeah, everything we see here is pure premium, where the price did not move. If it were to move, it doesn't impact the P&L too much. The green zone is just the fees collected. So open for 6 days. For a monthly option, we just have to wait. And overall, it's been working for us. The P&L and the pre-given points just get wider and wider the more we wait. So that's another one that is working for us. Also in the green. Happy about this. The Eigen trade. I'll go back to the USDC one, the biggest winner. But yeah, Eigen trade is another one that's been working for us. Oh, okay. So yeah, we know the setup. But yeah, can you walk us through what we see here?
Yeah, I see there's a little bit more liquidity deployed now around the price range, so that looks exciting. Just delta neutral position, earning fees at the moment, but price seems to have been quite stable, even though ETH kind of increased a little bit more, but this looks
Yeah,
good.
I think we can see the price. The Eigen is maybe one of the better correlated asset with ETH. Both move at the same time. So I'm sure Eigen had a similar upswing. But yeah, this is actually pretty cool. There's actually a very interesting liquidity distribution here. I'm tempted to go have a look, but we own liquidity that's quite wide. Again, this is a monthly option. The price is plus or minus 25%. So it's quite wide. I won't see the numbers because it's very, very skewed. But we own this big block of liquidity. But some other people are trading as well, and one which seems to be extremely narrow. So let's go and visit the market info page to see. This is the Panoptic liquidity, and Uniswap is kind of much wider, lots of blue, where the tiny sliver. But yeah, the Panoptic has a very interesting spike here. So we can see what's being traded. But someone is brave enough to trade a hourly option. They sold a I don't know how long ago, but if you sell an hourly option, it's very, very narrow. So this is the block that you see here. There's also a daily option that was sold, which is a bit wider. But this is also same account, I guess. They're testing out that sure a lot of stuff. But this account has been quite active in the Eigen market. The hourly option is not something I would personally deploy, but if you're saying I'm gonna play the Fed announcement maybe or a very short-term event, hourly options may be the best way to go because you may earn a lot of fees, and then if you're right directionally and earn the fees, you can be ahead. But yeah, this is a very interesting user. We maybe will revisit. They also created maybe I think a weekly option. Interesting. So we're in the monthly option because we are semi-passive. We don't want to be always constantly balancing. The hourly option might be too much for us, but yeah, monthly is the way to go. All right, and the ETH USDC pair, the whole portfolio is $65 ahead. Two positions are quite ahead in terms of return, and one of them, which is a new one, and this is the one that we kind of briefly discussed, but Intern has purchased an option, which is not something you see often, but I think this was a hedge to compensate for maybe losses that could be caused by the Fed announcement. Let's look at the the best performing one. A lot of it, I think, comes from the price action, but a lot of it comes from the fees as well. Um, that click there. Let's see. Okay, this is we have two identical positions, so it's pretty much the same. But we have a delta neutral trade, which is in range. It's moved down since we created, but it's still in range, and we're earning 3%, almost 3% in terms of fees over the last 13 days. The net PNL is 2.4. So even though the price went down, we're in the green. It's one of those where we have to wait. And then, yeah, should we do anything with that, you think, or are we good here, Rosalie?
No, I think the range looks good. I'm happy to see that effective spread as well. That's always a benefit from trading on Panoptic. So yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about the range.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the call side. So a lot of folks are bullish. They're buying call options. You're one of the biggest seller, I guess, in that strike, but people are buying options against you. So they are you sold personally, or intern, sorry. So 0.875 ETH worth of calls. Folks bought about half of this, and because they purchased, they pay you more. So you're earning, in that case, 10% more in that leg, meaning that your net premium is, for those two legs together, 5% more than Uniswap. Very, very encouraging. Buying call options, if you think, I mean, I'm sure these users probably made some money now because buying a call option, price just went up. I'm sure they if they timed it perfectly, they could still have made some money. So again, it's two-sided market. One wins, the other one loses. The one that we also have to look at is the put option that intern purchased. This one is a bit not something I would personally do often, but it's only for kind of maybe alleviating risks, making sure you don't get caught maybe in a big price move. Yeah, we traded put options before. This wasn't a meme coin, but yeah, how do you feel about buying put options on ETHUSDC, say this morning?
Yeah, I guess right now it's not looking too good, but I do think that because it was for risk management purposes, we are capped at our losses, and that was the goal. And depending on what ETH does in the next month, this could probably still even go towards a more profitable position since price goes up and down, but the losses are maxed, so I think that's okay.
Yeah, this is like buying insurance. You don't feel bad if you paid thousands of dollars for flood insurance, but then you get flooded. You are covered. So this is the same thing for this option. You are paying as you go, meaning every block intern is paying a little bit. They're not paying much, only 50 cents worth of premium. However, there is a component of capital appreciation. If you want, the price did go down, whereas put option is a bearish strategy. This one created a $25 loss. So without being the end of the world, this position did reduce the profit a little bit, but it's all about kind of managing risk. And we're going to click on the market to see the portfolio-wide P&L chart. And this is what you have when you have a position open or you spy on someone and you go on the markets page. In that case, intern is kind of covered forever in terms of losses. Remember, we had two positions that were opened. These two positions were exposed to the downside. So that one protective put option limited the losses, the max losses, and made it so you even make money if the price goes to zero. So this is a defensive move again, I think, that the intern made. I'm not sure if it's going to pay off, but even though it's a monthly option, the intern could conceivably kind of close it if it seems like the volatility or the market hasn't moved much. But now, again, we transform what was kind of a, again, straddle or what looks like impermanent loss from both sides to just losses on the upside, which is kind of one way to see this. So, yeah. And this is, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Personally, from experience, buying options is difficult to get right. You have maybe more upside, but it's hard to be right consistently. This is a pure hedging trade, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, maybe give it a couple more days and then really figure out if it was
And
they're
maybe again,
correct.
Fed announcement, maybe it was leaked. That's why it went up. But if it does result in a bearish outcome where market sells off, the announcement is definitely not positive, then you can imagine this will be in the money and earn fees. So not earn fees, but earn capital. So yeah, this is one of those day where I don't think we should do anything now because of the because of the Fed announcement. There's always an event, but in that case, I wouldn't assume anything until whatever 1:15 after the main announcement's done.
Yeah, I think the rest of the portfolio looks good, and we're still kind of at the beginning of our monthly options. So just, yeah, waiting for that announcement and maybe then redeploy.
Perfect. And yeah, we want to secure a lot of small wins, and that is what Intern is doing, and this is what we expect to happen. So, all right, there we go. So this is again any other maybe any other market or coin or strategy would you like to try for next week?
Yeah, I mean, definitely interested in some tokens such as maybe Uni or I think, yeah, it's interesting that more people are trading in Eigen now. So maybe another position there, and just kind of see where most volatility lies and try to kind
Yeah,
of
and I
see in
think
that.
the fact that someone else is selling means that we can buy their options. This is a way to also hedge our current position or create a fancy calendar spread because they're selling very narrow. We can buy this. So, anyways, we'll see. This is actually very exciting. But yeah, I think that's.
We got to close their hourly
I think,
option. Hours
or
over.
it might be covered. So a lot of what happens is that they sold a naked call. So that naked call, in theory, is losing. But if they are covered, and we don't see this from our interface, they have to be like logged in. They could actually be fine. And even though that position is in the money, they are effectively kind of still bullish. So, but yeah, all right. So this is it for Stop Losing, Stop Trading. This is a fun week. The big event will happen in a few minutes with the Fed chair announcement. A lot of those, and then we had Tom Sosnop on. But if you had to bet about market moves after the Fed trade, what do you think is going to happen?
It's hard to say in crypto. I feel like the news aren't really what drive the market too much because whales kind of are not really dependent on that. Although you have to buy the rumors and sell the news,
Exactly.
and it's better to not be a part of like the masses, I guess, idea, but take the opposite approach and something I
Definitely,
think
yeah.
can
A lot,
happen.
and this is something we see over and over again. It's always a sell the news type of event. So anything that is released, any big announcement, doesn't even impact the market, or even it goes down. It goes up when there's maybe some unknown in the balance. But yeah, so this is very cool. Thanks, Rosalie. We'll continue here with Brandon on the Options Hour, where we cover interesting topics and events over the past week. Uh, but yeah, for
Awesome.
sure.
All
Thanks,
right.
Rosalie.
Heroes.
Enjoy DAS and go Shield Panoptic.
I
Perfect.
will. I will.
Yes, speaking of DAS, we have the Panoptic Girls taking over Wall Street.
They are. Watch out. Oh,
Please,
this is
yeah, they'll be in town today. They were there yesterday. Rosalie is always there, so we'll be there tomorrow as well. So please reach out to the team if you'd like to meet up at DAS in New York.
So Rosalie works actually at Station 3, which is Station 3, which is right across the street from the Bull. So she's probably visiting the Bull very, very frequently, very subversive, having a crypto working space with Station 3, but deep inside Wall Street. Definitely brave new
Yeah,
world.
what an irony.
Yes.
But if you want to meet up, make sure to reach out to our head of BD, Izzy. Her Telegram handles at IZZYB23. So reach out to at IZZYB23 if you'd like to meet up with the Panoptic team. So yes, today, as you mentioned, we are up on crypto right before the Fed announcement. Looking at stocks, we're also up We're over 1%, just over a percent, 1.03% up on the Nasdaq, 0.68% up on the Dow Jones.
So you listen to these numbers, right? Oh my God, the market is so bullish, and then it's like 1% up. Like we say, hey, look at crypto.
Yes, and then someone's Nvidia stock tanks 20%, and it's the very,
No,
very
that's right.
sad
I
thing
think
for them,
crypto
but
hardens
kinda
you.
normal.
We're used to huge crashes, FOMO inducing rallies. 1% is any other Tuesday. Here we are expecting something big. And yeah, the 8% I think on ETH is definitely on the higher side. But yes, it would make fund managers faint if they had to deal with that much volatility. But yeah, we do it every day.
Yeah, if you trade options too, you're even more even more attuned to the volatility. But yes, things are going crazy. Markets are wild. It has nothing, I think, to do with the interest rate prediction specifically. If we take a look at what Polymarket
Oh,
is
that's
looking
true.
at, which
Yeah.
matches the analysts for this today, March 19th. As you mentioned, the interest rate announcement will come out soon. Pretty much everyone universally agrees, except for this 1% of people, that no change will be made to the interest rate. It'll stay.
Oh my God.
The Fed funds rate will stay at 4.25 to 4.5%. So a lot of this market news could be something else. Maybe a lot of attention to what and how the Fed talks about the economy, what's going on with
Yeah,
their
a lot
expectations.
of a lot of things are either unsaid or body language. You can actually feel a lot. But I didn't know. Yeah, it's good to have a party market. I like anything in life. If you bet for no real money, like no one is going to take you seriously here. People are on the line. I support the 1% contrarian take. But yes, I can agree that what the market is telling us is no change. So it might be it.
I mean, this 1%, like someone could have bet back here in January, back when it was a
Oh, I see.
60-40, and then maybe they haven't changed.
Wait. So this started in January. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
haven't there
December.
been another one since then, or it's not
Yeah,
the
so
first
you
time of
can
the year?
bet early. So like we can take a look at even the May one. Most people are also factoring in no change in May. Just the
Oh,
Fed has said they probably will only take 2 cuts this year.
and you see in
And
June.
then if you look at June, this is a little more split because it's further out, and that could be one of the 2 cuts that.
So we can see a similar thing typically in the bonds market. Like you have expiring bonds and you have the 10-year, 30 years, but there's also another extremely liquid, heavily traded market. And people are also looking at what the bond market tells us in a weird way, since bonds are traded like it's an OTC, not OTC, but you get the bond, but you can trade the bond futures themselves. So the futures can depeg, and that depeg between what the bond would give you and the current price is what the implied rate is in the future. And it's a bit more complicated than yes or no versus like up 25 bits, down 25 bits. But there's also a lot of the market typically has a good hunch as well on the bond market, but it's like billions of dollars worth of trade as well. If you're wrong, you lose a lot of money. So you also have this level of maybe certainty that someone is doing something that they think is the right way to profit.
And do the option traders like to dabble with options on bonds then, or
A little bit. I mean, a lot of what I
Sure.
do is like being agnostic to the underlying. So whether it's a bond, whether it's a stock or an ETF or a leverage ETF, there's a trade for that, and it's your brain works the same way. You just have to scale everything to even currencies. I'm trading the Canadian dollar currency once in a while. Uh, Big announcement in terms of tariffs. Volatility is increased, but then the price doesn't change that much, and then you can capitalize on that. Same way you capitalize on any price move. But because it's currencies and they don't go to, if it goes to 0, it's unlikely. If it goes to 10x, it's also unlikely. It's a bit range bound, and you have to scale. Instead of doing a monthly trade, you maybe do a 3 months, 6 months trade, and hold it for a bit longer because it doesn't move that much. But yeah, the whole bonds versus currencies versus stocks versus ETFs, same trade, same entry point criteria, is just a different way to scale it in terms of time.
Yeah, well, very interesting. Well, on that note, not necessarily bonds specifically, but we're up slightly a tick on the U.S. 10-year Treasuries. So looks like pretty much everyone is pricing in no interest rate change here, if anything. We will spin over to the IV
right.
analysis for
How's my
today's-
Canadian dollar position doing?
Canadian dollars are probably doing better than the
Interesting. Yeah, no, that's right. I think the sell-off that was caused by the tariff talks is maybe again was overreaction. So there's always a trade, not just on vol, but some directionality. So I think I'm okay. Doing okay.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like we're down in the year, but slightly up on the week.
Yes,
Some
exactly.
slightly positive news. Well, let's jump to just the overall analysis. I wanted to dive into a little bit about the implied volatilities that are being shown, look at a couple of venues, and we can take a look at that. So, as you know, I think we were talking about IBIT the other day on our Beyond the Greeks, where we feature a research analysis, bite analysis every Tuesday. The topic of IBIT versus Deribit came up. That we take a look into kind of what the IVs are showing everywhere and look at some of the put call ratios. So, first of all, we're at around 51%, depending on the strike and the maturity you're looking at, but around 51% IVs on Bitcoin with the IBIT options, which is historically quite low. And so, option seller premiums are being priced quite low. We have an IV rank of just 30% and a percentile even lower of 23%. Could you go over a little bit for our audience the difference between IV rank and IV percentile?
Yes, any instrument, whether it's again bonds or Bitcoin or S&P 500, has some intrinsic volatility, and that shifts over time. And it's typically range bound; it doesn't move too much. But you have a crash; it can spike very, very high. You have some prolonged time where there's nothing going on; it can be very low. The key point is that IV rank, both IV rank and percentile, gives you its maybe positioning or ranking compared to itself. So Bitcoin in this case, if you tell me is 51% or 60% or 40%, it's hard to know where it's located. But in this case, Ivy Rank tells you it's in the 30% rank of all positions. So you take the last year worth of IVs, order them, and say 50%, where is that located? And it's in the amount of kind of, is it in the the close to the 30% ranked. IV percentile is a similar measure, but you do it in terms of like medium, how frequently are you above or below this. Rank is ordered, so it's a weird per day, and you order it, versus this one is a bit more continuous, and you have the distributions. So both of them, you want this to be quite high to sell options, and you will see both rank and percentile spike up when there's a spike in volatility. I follow TC Trades content a lot. I rank of 30 is the threshold between like, do you participate or not? If it's below 30 IV rank, you may not want to sell options because it's kind of on the lower scale, or lower end of that scale. If it's 30, 50, 70, IV ranks is kind of non-linear. But if you see IV rank of 80, it's actually quite high, and that's kind of could be one way to think that it's a good time to enter. So that means that for the IV rank of 30, it's on the cusp. It's not super high, not super low. I would not necessarily trade it that much because it's that I would expect spike to 40, 50% IV rank would be where you would enter. The opposite is true if you want to buy options. If you think that the repressed IV is a good opportunity to buy on bet on vol exploding, you can buy straddles and strangles. Both IV percentile are ranked being below 15 or 10 is also a good signal for entering a position on the buy side.
Thank you so much for that breakdown. So it sounds like IV rank and percentile both are good ways to gauge if you want to enter to purchase options or sell options. Percentile being more of a frequency, like how many days compared to the days, how has it been, versus IV rank compared to the actual IV values. And so are you looking more at IV rank when you're looking at these thresholds rather than percentile?
Yeah, IV rank has a little bit more responsiveness on the high side. So most of the time, the IV rank is quite low, like 15, 20. And that means stay away if you sell options. And I love this because IV percentile could be 40%, 50%, but the rank could be still low. So the IV distribution is kind of skewed, where it spikes and slowly goes down, and spikes slowly goes down. It's not always true, but this is one way that you see this. So the rank means that if you're down and down quite a bit long, you are weighting the spikes a bit more heavily, and you are kind of using this as a better signal. And I didn't see this, but there's an IV high and low frequency, and highest was in November for Bitcoin, or IBIT. Lowest was in February for IBIT. So even those two numbers also, you can have, like, we can see from the numbers, it seems we're quite a bit on the low side of like 51 versus 45 there.
Yeah, in the last year here. So given this IV information, I don't know if Intern has any Bitcoin trades open, but would you consider closing those options trades in anticipation?
It's all about
no,
it's all about Panoptic specific IV, and in that case, the IV that you see on IBIT and Deribit is quite different than what you see on Panoptic, and it's two markets. Then these IVs have to be arbed, and they have to be kind of adjusted. Turns out that I think the USDC was that. Yeah,
take a look here at the Panoptic
exactly.
market.
So we show the IV percentile here, but it's actually quite low, 27%. I would say that maybe, I don't know if we scale it properly, but then if there is some yearly data that we can look at, I don't think this is yearly. So I could say the more we wait, the more we are launched, the better this accuracy is in terms of percentile. But even now, we see 27%, much slower than what you have on IBIT. So might be an opportunity for buying. Remember, you buy the vol on Panoptic, so even though the price moves like a 50% IV, you pay a 27% IV. So this is a weird kind of inefficiency, but you are exposed to the violent moves of a 50% instrument, but the cost is actually much lower, of 27. So that's maybe an opportunity for buying. I don't think Intern has USDC BTC options. The BTC ETH is also a bit hard to get, and actually I have no idea what the IV is. IV percentile in that case is 45 if you look at the ratio, which is kind of a middle of the road. Don't close your positions yet, but then maybe don't open new ones. I don't know.
All right, but so we're right at threshold, and it sounds like
that correlated. Yeah, that
I mean, as an option seller, are you a little bit more worried? Like, would you pull out the plug, while you're not sure what will happen here?
No, that's right. I think the pulling out the plug is only like, there has to be a different signal than just IV. IV is a great signal for entering into a trade, but leaving, you maybe have to be a bit more patient. The IV is instantaneous. You get some fees every block, every trade, and that's one way to look at this. If you get less returns in a day, it's fine if it does pick up later on. So the IV is only a small fraction of the total lifetime. So I would say that the IV being low as an option seller is maybe a reason not to deploy more liquidity, but that's not a reason to close your positions.
Very interesting. So it's more of an entry point for you. And yeah, very, very, thanks for the insights on the rank and percentile. Wanted to compare also to Deribit just to get a gauge with this. We look at the April 25th. I don't know why this isn't updating, but we're also looking around 53% depending on the expiry. So pretty much matching IBIT. I think there was like an IBIT premium back when IBIT first launched. It looks like a lot closer in the market making and the demand there. Between
can we see open interest? I like this actually website. Implied volatility is one aspect. The other one is like, are people trading? You can see both sides increasing in terms of options volume or interest. But it seems also to be kind of healthy. Nothing is in the red there, but why is options volume in the red when it's high? I think it's for buyers. Maybe.
Good question. I mean, it's just, I think they just have to keep the green and the red on the left.
Oh, I see.
I'm not sure if there's more to it. Maybe there is, but no, it's because, it's just like high or low, I think, probably.
Yeah. Okay. Very hot market. But open interest,
low
volume and open interest are both, I'd say, kind of a good indicator of market activity and healthiness. So if there's less volume, so it's like, even we deal with Uniswap and people talk about LVR and MEV and all of that. So if all the volume is arbitrage and funds doing like extremely boring stuff, that represses volatility, that represses returns. And if a lot of speculation or active traders or those that want to capitalize on events trade, then that increases the volume, and that means that volatility picks up more returns as well for the sellers. So the volume, typically you want it to be very high, and you want it to be kind of very active in terms of open interest sellers, so that there's a good turnover. And the times where volatility is very, very low, say S&P 500 or in the IBIT case, is just because there's not much exciting trades going on. It's all very boring type of arbitrage. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the case right now. There's really nothing to look forward to as far as bullish or bearish, headwinds, tailwinds that we can really say. So it seems like the market's kind of boring right now, and any moment something could pop out. But I don't know if that has to do with the low volume. It seems like it's a very boring outlook for now. As far as the put call ratios go, yeah, we're pretty down low at around lower than 0.5. I think depends on what market you are, but 0.75 is kind of neutral-ish, right? So we're at a pretty more on the bullish side of much more call contracts outstanding, still open, and also a lot more calls being purchased recently.
Very bullish. Again, a lot of ETFs and market-wide indices have put skew, where there's a lot more puts being purchased for hedging and kind of risk management. And most equities, and in that case Bitcoin, they have call skew, which is a lot of more people are bullish, using this as a way to get upside on the equity. So the not a winning trade by all means, but a lot of what people do is you can hedge with the S&P 500 and get a directional point of view on the asset itself. So again, you can think Tesla is going to overperform S&P, or Nvidia will overperform. So you can have less risk by hedging in the S&P to take care of maybe downside risk, and then but still have the upside given by the call options that you trade on the underlying equity.
Yeah, basically short the beta and then just get that alpha from Tesla. But yeah, I mean, I think there's also like something that used to do, which was the beta premium on FOMC day. So basically you would purchase beta right before the FOMC meeting, a day before or the day of, and then you would close your trade right after they announce. If I had done that yesterday, it would have been good. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of hours today. But that is all we have for Options Hour. Please stay tuned for our launch of options trading on Uniswap V4 coming out soon. So we'll have some announcements there in the coming days. But right now you can visit grow.panoptic.xyz to lend your collateral, earn some interest. I think yields are around 5 to 15% on ETH, which is pretty nice and crazy compared to your alternatives. And you can trade this vol if you think it's quite low here on Panoptic. Not financial advice. Please do your own research, but vols are low. Maybe Intern will be buying options next time. We'll see.
No, yeah, the hedge that they created was buying for price collapses and making sure that the announcement would not kind of wreck the whole thing. So, but yeah, and maybe one thing I want to talk about too is maybe the Coinbase announcement of the verified pools. I don't know if there's but yeah, this is also a new, and people depressed maybe will hate it, but Coinbase is kind of out there to increase adoption of Uniswap V4 in their latest announcement. So this is actually a hook that the Coinbase team have created. I don't know if it's part of their own their own teamwork, or they interacted with other people, but that's one way to say, okay, lots of folks, institutions cannot trade maybe in open markets because of regulations. They have to KYC, they have to know where the funds come from. if a even Tornado Cash account touches the pool of Uniswap, it may mean that they may not be able to trade at all. So what here Coinbase is doing is to allow whitelisted KYC. Again, the purists will hate this, but this helps onboard more users. But yeah, this is the one I want to look at. But that's also a very, very kind of cool move and interesting move for Coinbase. I think it's on Base too, but they have markets that they themselves are kind of maybe sponsoring and allowing more users to trade. And I think from their announcement, this is meant for US users. It's actually one way for regulated entities to trade and be an LP. And that's kind of the key point. You can trade, but also at the same time, if you want to get exposure to an LP, you can do this.
And they're calling these pools. So are these like V3 style pools, concentrated liquidity? Like what?
Yeah, no, this is all V4 and it's considered liquidity. They have some weird 15 bips and 2 bips, but that's fine.
This is Uniswap V4 pools that are verified by Coinbase.
Yeah, and I'd say I would have to look at it, and I'll try to see if we were to deploy a Panoptic market on top. Is the Panoptic pool the user that needs to be KYC'd or the caller or the signer? That could be interesting. Again, you can imagine institutions wanting to trade options on ETH, USDC, BTC. And the only way to do this now is kind of through that verified pools. We work on any hook pools that have similar to this. KYC is perfect for our application because we can enable anyone to trade because it doesn't interfere with the liquidity aspect of it. But yeah, verified.
You know how the verification is? It only users have to be verified, or just liquidity?
Yeah, they said send us an email if you want to get verified. Which is, I don't know if it's the it's the best, most scalable way, but you can kind of. That's the thing. Institutions cannot connect, of course, through Coinbase wallet, but I don't know. They probably have the wallet itself be Coinbase wallet be the gateway. And actually, this isn't interesting. I don't know exactly how it works, but this is maybe Coinbase maybe leading the way, Base being one example of this, but also now verified pools allowing more users that may not be able to use the chain itself to be participating in that ecosystem. And again, I thought initially that even the Base thing, the whole thing could have been KYC'd. I'm not sure it would have helped with the adoption, but you can imagine having a walled garden in a way that V4 hooks allow quite easily to do. But yeah,
and no just-in-time liquidity allowed maybe on these.
That's right. Verify your wallet. Maybe I'll do this just now. Here's my social security. Okay,
tell us
I'll
all
try it. Maybe I'll be the biggest LP on the verified pools. Who knows?
Well, there's only $64 in one of the pools, so
I'll double
this. But that's awesome. It looks like it's kind of paving the way for some new stuff. Maybe some actual real world assets. I mean, we got stable coins on there, but maybe some other stuff will be appearing on these verified pools. So we'll have to keep an eye out.
Yeah, and again, the goal is that it's not maybe forcing everyone to use this. So if you don't like the KYC aspect and you want to trade your meme coins on your own, there's a way to do this. Again, you can write your own interface or even RPC call your way to a trade. So that's kind of the diversity is important. It's not as if Coinbase says everyone has to do it, but if you want, then you can do this verified pool.
And the hooks have an actual like whitelist, then you think, of users that can interact?
Hopefully this is all open source. Otherwise I would have doubts, but yeah, it's probably something we can look at. Yeah, maybe that's going to be the next 15 minutes of my time looking at how they do it.
But all right. Thank you for sharing.
That's it. So again, I have kind of a hard stop, but yeah, thanks very much, Brendan. Thanks very much, Rosalie, for the trades. Again, this is all very fun. We try to create content that people can now kind of see where options can be useful for those. So at the end of the day, we'll keep an eye open for the Fed announcement, but yeah, there's always a trade there for someone.
Stay tuned for Friday, and we'll be back with more Start Trading and Stop Losing.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, you guys.